Hi there. Good evening, everybody. I want to welcome you here to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So, we're here for the live stream episode that I do on Friday nights called Into the Progverse, in which I usually have some kind of feature episode. Today, we're doing this band, Gentle Giant. Gentle Giant. I'm going to do my Gentle Giant collection. So, for those of you who've been following me, last week I did my Eloy collection, and the week before, I believe I did my Camel collection. So now we're going to do my my Gentle Giant collection. I wasn't going to do another collection episode because I'd done a couple in a row, but I couldn't resist the chance to talk about Gentle Giant. I know some people are a little bit more off than others. So I don't have all of the Gentle Giant studio albums. However, I do have 7 of them. I think it's 7. Yeah, 7 plus the live album. Um, one of the live albums I have. So for those of you who do not know who Gentle Giant is a progressive rock band that made their first album in 1970. They pretty much, most of the members, the 3 brothers, came from a band called Simon Dupuis, and then put together this band called Gentle Giant. My history with Gentle Giant is a little bit, I guess it's a little bit staggered. So I bought the first album back in the early 80s. I really didn't care much for it. I kind of tried to listen to it because my friend was big on them, and I said, okay, I'll give them a fair try. And I listened to them, but I just found the album too um, murky, I guess, in a way. I thought the vocals were weak. I thought that the instrumentation was lacking. I also thought that the choice of the songs were hard to penetrate. There's all kinds of reasons I had for it. Plus, I had a hugely terrible stereo system, which really didn't highlight any of their assets. So now, after having been listening, so I went through a long period of time where I didn't really listen to them. When I started collecting CDs, I did buy the same CD again, which is kind of weird. I'm not really sure why I did that, but I did. And so for the longest time, I didn't listen again to them till I started this channel, and then I bought a couple of their albums. And then one day, I decided to put one of their albums into the playlist. It was in there about 5 months. I was just about to stop, and then something clicked. And then the album ended up staying on in my playlist for almost an entire year, which that's only happened maybe one other time with Songs from the Wood. Anyways, that was the beginning of my love for Gentle Giant. They took right off after that. And so we're going to talk about the albums in my collection, what I like about them, what I don't like about them, maybe a little bit about who's on the album, what my history is with the album, that kind of stuff. Nothing too grandiose here, but I still wanted to do this. So we'll need my glasses there for that. So we're going to start with, actually, these glasses need a good polishing. These aren't the ones. I stepped on one of my pairs the other night. I was reading and they fell asleep and dropped them on the floor, and then forgot they were there and got up and stepped on them, but these weren't them. Okay, so the first album in the Gentle Giant discography is this one, their debut album, which is just simply called Gentle Giant. You may notice here that his beard is kind of reddish. You'll see why I pointed that out shortly. But anyway, this is a strong album. I didn't really expect much from this album. Being a debut album, I didn't know much about it. I thought it was probably going to be, I guess, because it was similar. Sorry, similar album cover to actually identical album cover to their Three Friends album. I thought it would be the same kind of thing would happen to me that happened on that album, which was all the things I said earlier. However, this was much different. There's some really solid stuff on here. Plus, I now have a better system to listen to their music on. I do crank it up quite a bit, and I think this one produced by Tony Visconti. Some really strong stuff on here. The first 6 songs, all good. The last one's kind of just a throw on, I think. The Queen. Funny Ways, fantastic. Maybe one of their best songs. Sorry, the album. They've got the cover on an angle for this CD. It's kind of annoying. Actually, that seems to be a problem with all of their albums. The covers, anyways. Is It Quiet and Cold? Another great track. Nothing at All. Nothing at All may be my favorite favorite song on this album now. It's so there's just something about it. It's almost mystical. I just love it. I love everything about this song. And it's one of their longest songs as well. I mean, actually maybe their longest song of all time. Just really good. So this whole album has just strengthened my like of this band so much. Totally surprised me too. So this came out in 1970, and of course it has your classic members of the band. I'm just going to open it up so you can see them here. You got the Shulman brothers, Derek, Phil, and Ray Shulman. Then you have Kerry Meniere. I believe that's him in the middle there. Actually, that may be him at the front. Then you have, is it Martin Mortimer on drums? Or actually, I think this might be their original drummer, which I don't remember his name. I should remember his name. Martin Smith, sorry. Just drew a blank on him. So you got, do this again. So you've got the Shulman brothers, Derek, Phil, Ray Shulman. Nope, now I've closed it. Anyways, you see them there. Derek, Phil, Ray Shulman, Gary Green up at the top there. I believe that is Martin Smith in the middle, and then Kerry Meniere at the bottom. Kerry Meniere, much underrated keyboardist. He's a multi-instrumentalist. Plays just about everything. He's just fantastic. Guitar, vibraphone. He plays all types of keyboards, even sings. His vocals are a little bit weak, but still for the album, he's really good. So that's their first album, their debut album. Their second album is this one. You can get a look at that, Acquiring the Taste. Yeah, kind of a, definitely not something I want to really talk much about, this cover. This is what it actually should look like, and then that really explains a lot. However, the way they put it forth, yeah, okay, we won't go there. So this is the album that was on my charts about almost a year. Not my charts, on my playlist about a year. Really good album. I like all the stuff on this too. Pentagrel's Naivety opens it up. Fantastic tune. Lots of stuff going on there. Edge of Twilight. I like this. It's kind of almost surreal in some ways. The House, the Street, and the Room. Underrated track, but really good. Acquiring the Taste, which of course is the title track. Really good as well. Wreck probably was my favorite on this album when I first. That's probably the song that turned Gentle Giant around for me and made them into the band I wanted, that I liked. The Moon is Down, interesting tune. And then you've got Black Cat. I love this version. Black Cat, so good. Maybe a little bit, well, yeah, definitely a lot of that jazz feel to it, but it's just such a great track. And then Plain Truth is great too. Some of the songs on here are a little bit longer than most Gentle Giant stuff, a couple of 6s and a 7 on here, but solid album. Maybe my favorite Gentle Giant album. That was their second album. That one came out in 71, in case I didn't mention it. The only change, I believe, to the personnel on the album, it was the drummer. I believe this is the one. I'm confused. This is where Martin Mortimer came in, I believe. Nope. Maybe I'm wrong. Could be wrong. Let's look in here. Actually, it doesn't give you. Yeah, it's not giving you the band members on it, but I think this may be where either Martin Smith left on this album or Martin Mortimer or Max. I'll get to it in a second when it comes back to my brain. Sorry. There's a problem with Friday nights is I'm always so tired. So we'll go on to the third album while my brain is getting together here. So this is the Three Friends album, and you can notice that the difference between the two album titles isn't really easy to see. Unfortunately, they have to turn this one on its side to get a good look at it. So you got one with red hair or reddish brown hair, and then the other one's almost a greenish blonde hair. But it's basically the same giant. You can see that. Not much difference, just the change of the hair on the album. Again, they have the same picture on the back. Nice shot of them all. Now, I do believe this may be the first album with Martin Mortimer. Or, looking here. Oh, yeah, okay, here it is. Yeah, Malcolm Mortimer. I don't know why I was saying Martin. Malcolm Mortimer is on here. The funny thing about that I find is the reason I brought this all up is, yeah, it's basically the same picture on the back here as on the first album, but yet it's Malcolm Mortimer who's playing here and not Martin Smith. So they forgot to make that small change there, I guess. So anyways, my history with this one, this is the first Gentle Giant album that I ever had, and it didn't take well to it. A lot of it because of the stereo system. I now look back and realize that was part of the problem. And a bit of a negative feel stuck over this one for the longest time. It's currently in my playlist again, and actually doing way better than it. I tried to dismiss it as not being, the original album I had listened to before, and tried to listen to it with a fresh set of ears. So there's a lot of good stuff on here. Stuff that I wouldn't have normally in the old days, wouldn't have listened to at all. But now I begin to realize how complex this is. And the guitar is just right off the charts here. Working All Day. This is a bit of a heavier song. I like that a lot. School Days, which is also on here, really good. Peel the Paint, maybe the big track on here. Not necessarily my favorite of the tracks. Mr. Class and Quantity. Peel the Paint has the friggin' great guitar on it, though. So fantastic. Yeah, this is a strong album. I now see it as being much stronger than I originally did. And I'm thinking that it might do pretty well on my playlist. Not something I was really expecting to happen. I was just hoping that I would get past that part where I didn't like it and at least like it. And I'm past that by quite a bit now. So there it is, Gentle Giant's third album, Three Friends. Now, the other one that's also in my playlist at this point in time, is actually been on my playlist a little bit longer. It's coming close to about 5 months now, is this one, Octopus. Now, I prefer the red Octopus one cover, but that one hasn't been available, so I bought this one. This is really good. It's growing on me leaps and bounds. It's now probably one of my top 2 or 3 albums on my playlist right now. Only 8 tracks on this, but all of them under 5 minutes, or actually River is over 5 minutes, but everything else is under 5 minutes. Lots of good stuff. Knots is really good. This album is quite good. It's growing on me. I'm still learning these songs quite a bit. Takes some time. Even this one, when I first played it, I was a little disappointed, thinking, "Oh no, don't tell me I'm going to go through this again with this group." But I didn't really like it at first. Took a couple plays before I was kind of neutral on it. And I said I'm going to go full out on it and put it in my playlist, which I did. And it took a while before it started to move, and now it's starting to move. It's just doing really well. I just like it a lot. I find myself looking forward to it when I'm going to put it on. Strong album, as all their first ones are. And this one, of course, has the same group, except for I think they may have changed the drummer again for this one. It might be Martin Mortimer. Just looking here. No, this is the first one with John Weathers. I wasn't sure if it was. Oh, excuse me. Wow, where'd that come from? Anyways, I apologize for that. And strong album. Like I said, I would have preferred the other cover, but this is still not particularly a bad cover. I think it's pretty good. Probably their best of the first four, anyways, for sure. So that's the fourth album. Now we move on to I don't have In a Glass House, which is unfortunate because I think that may end up being my favorite of them. I've heard it a few times and I like it a lot. But this one is the next one out. This one I have as, I guess you might call this a digipack. I'm not a big fan of digipacks because this kind of stuff happens where it gets all bent because you can't close it properly and stuff. Yeah, I try to stay away from them if at all possible. I prefer not to buy them, but sometimes you don't have that choice. So this is the same group as once John Weathers joined. So now you don't have Phil Shulman anymore. He's left the band, left it as a 5-piece band with the other four members: Derek Shulman, Ray Shulman, Kerry Manier, Gary Green, and of course John Weathers. So now they're a 5-piece band with Phil gone. He actually left before the last album as well, but I don't own that one, so I can't say too much about it. This is the funny part about this album. Even it was released in the early 70s. I think it was 74. It doesn't say. It says recorded 73 through 74. So I'm gonna say it was a 74 year. It hasn't gone in my playlist yet, so I've listened to it maybe twice. I think it's pretty good. I think I will like this a lot. There's nothing that sticks out here at the moment because I haven't really listened to it a lot, only enough to know I like it. This is a Steven Wilson remix as well. It's one of the better covers as well. I do like that. The Power and the Glory by Gentle Giant. So the next album up that I have was in my playlist for quite a bit of time. Did pretty well. I do like it a lot, and it's Freehand. So this has Just the Same, which is also one of my favorite Gentle Giant songs. Definitely going to be top 5 for me there. The rest of the tracks, all pretty solid. None of them terribly memorable to me at this point, but I do like this album a lot. I mean, not memorable. I mean, terribly high on my list. That's the word I wanted to use. This, of course, features the Derek and Ray Shulman, Kerry Manier, Gary Green, and John Weathers. I believe those 5 are on all the remaining albums going forward. This one was recorded in 76 and I believe released that same year. This is also a remastered edition. I'm just looking to see. Yeah, it doesn't say. It's funny how some albums will tell you the producer, easy thing to find. Other albums don't tell you nothing. I do like the inside cover on this album quite a bit too. Yeah, good, solid album. That opening song, Just the Same. I saw them do that live in a concert that I have on DVD, which I think is fantastic. And that song opened it up really catchy. And a very different sounding album from some of the other stuff, a little bit more up-tempo. Actually, quite a bit more up-tempo. So, Freehand. My next album also was in my playlist, but not too long, just briefly. This one I didn't take as well to this one as some of the others. probably will give it another chance once I get the Power and the Glory in there. Give it a chance, and if I can get um, the other albums that I don't own, so I will probably put that one first because it's been waiting the longest. This one's solid. It's a solid album. I like it. It's just not. It's probably not going to end up being a top 5 album by them, but still really good. They don't really. None of these albums are bad at all. Like they don't really have a bad ones of the ones I've listened to thus far. And only a few bands have done that for me. Supertramp being the one that comes to mind the most, but I'm sure that there'll be at least one album that doesn't really sit with me well. And then, of course, now we're down to the final one, which is the live concert, Playing the Fool. I believe this is actually the one that I saw the DVD for. It doesn't really tell me that. I think it was. Just looking to see where it was recorded. So you've got Derek Schulman, Ray Schulman, Kerry Minier, Gary Green, John Weathers Playing the Fool, recorded on the European tour. It doesn't really say where they were when they did this. But it starts out with just the same. So I think it may have been the concert that I actually seen on the DVD, which is something I was looking to buy as well. So we'll get into it. But so on this particular one, there are 11 tracks. Most of them very familiar to me now. Just the same. Funny Ways is on here. The Runaway. Free Hand is on here. Peel the Paint and I Lost My Head. Medley is on here as well. This has got some really good stuff. They're actually really quite good live, better than I anticipated. Most instrumental, I've said, how are they going to do all those instruments in a live setting? That was my first thought, was because they play sometimes as many as 60 instruments on any given album. I'm saying, how are they going to be able to play all those with in a live setting? But they did. There was one song they were playing all one set of instruments, and the next song everybody was playing something completely different. I've never seen that by a band anywhere. Even Yes, even though Yes plays a lot of different stuff too. Nobody plays as many instruments as these guys. That's for certain. So that's my collection of Gentle Giant albums. I'm just going to repeat them all so that everybody who might want to make notes can do. So, no, I got them. I'm just going to move them out of place here. So the first one is their debut album. Self-titled debut. Their second album is Acquiring the Taste. I guess it's this way. The third album is Three Friends. This is my oldest one. Next up comes Octopus, the American version here. Next up for me is The Power and the Glory. Then Free Hand, Thing from the Addams Family. That's what that reminds me of. Of course, The Interview. And then last but not least, the live album recorded called Playing the Fool. Yeah, really good. Really good. All of them are good. No bad ones here. So that's my Gentle Giant collection. I hope you've enjoyed this. It was fun. It's fun to talk about your albums, and you as you listen to them. It's funny how each album has some little memory that only it has, right? Oh, I'm gonna need a drink here. Anyways, I am looking forward to, I believe there's still 4 for me to get. So pieces, 2 pieces, multiple pieces. Can't remember what it's called. Giant for a Day, of course, which is considered their worst. They did another album after that, whose name I cannot remember, but I know it if I see it. And then, of course, In a Glass House, which I think will ultimately be my favorite Gentle Giant album once I do get it and get to play it. I really thought it was a fantastic, really complex, well put together, great instrumentation and vocals on it. So I'm looking forward to that when it comes as well. So, anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Into the Progverse, my live stream that I do every Friday night. Hopefully, you get a chance to view it, and we will see you next week with another episode of Into the Progverse. So, take care and goodbye.